Let's come back to the idea of light. Hi everyone, this is your favorite Bible nerd, R.A. Sweeney. Welcome back to Language of Life for Little Learners. Today I want to talk about something. In the past we talked about light as a thing. So God created light, separated it from darkness, and so light in and of itself. Today I wanted to talk about a light or some lights. Specifically, we see in day 4 of creation, there are the lights in the heavens. And so it's just like the word light that God created on day 1, but it's contained in a certain way. And that's what we're dealing with here. So the word that we are dealing with, oftentimes it gets translated as like lamps. Luminaries I see sometimes, which is a very weird word in English. But I feel like a light or lights is the best way to translate this because it's the word that we looked at before for light, as in let there be light and there was, which we said was or. This is ma or. And when we put the M with a vowel after it at the beginning of a word, it's turning it into a noun if it's a verb or an adjective or something like that. It turns it into a noun. In this case, I'd translate it as like a thing of light or one of light. A lot of times, like when you start thinking about nouns are a person, a place, or a thing. So it's a person of light, a place of light, or a thing of light. So if I think of like the word sacrifice in Hebrew, I've got a word there. And then the place where you offer a sacrifice is an altar in English. In Hebrew, they just put the sound for the letter M on the beginning with the vowel there, and that turns it into, instead of a sacrifice, it's the place of a sacrifice, or the place of the sacrifices, or whatever. And that's what we have going on here. It's person, place, or thing. We have to figure out which one from the context, because it could be any of those by putting the Hebrew letter mem, which is our M, on the beginning here. But it's a thing of light. In this case, I think thing is probably the best between person, place, or thing. I think thing is probably the best to fit our ideas of what we're talking about here. So it's a thing of light, a thing that holds or produces or does something with light. It's a thing that belongs to light or has relationship to light. So again, I'll say it and then we can say it together. So the word is ma'or. Ma'or is the word that we're talking about here. And if you guys want to say it with me, ma'or is a light. One more time, ma'or is a light. In this case, it's ma'orim, which makes it plural. It's the lights, but it's the things of light. When we look at how the idea of the lights in the heavens gets developed, it gets put on parallel with spiritual beings, especially when it starts talking about the different types of lights. You've got the great light and the little light that we'll come across that rule the day and the night, and those are described using spiritual being type language in different parts of the Bible. So I don't think it would be unfair to, instead of saying thing, I think we could say person, if we wanted to call the spiritual beings a person. So it's like a person of light, the person of the stars, of this star or that star, the person of the sun, the person of the moon, because they are used in that way in the Hebrew to talk about it like it's a thing. But this is just one of really only a couple ways the word gets used. So it does talk about the lights in the heavens. Very, very common that we see it used that way. There's only 3 other ways that this does get used in all of the Hebrew Bible, or the Old Testament. So most common would be the lights in the heavens. So the stars, the sun, the moon, those sorts of things. The next most common would be the lights inside the tabernacle. So in the tabernacle, there are lamps, is how it usually gets translated in English. There are lamps that the priest put olive oil in, and then the olive oil burns, and the light produces, the lamp produces light from the fire. But the lamp itself is called a light. It's a thing that makes light. And so we've got that all over especially in the Torah. We see a lot of places where it talks about having the ma'orim, the lights in the tabernacle, about bringing oil so that it can be used in the ma'orim in the tabernacle. So that's, I would say, probably the second most common way that we see it used. So first would be the stars, sun, and moon in the sky. Next would be the lamps in the tabernacle. It is used very infrequently to talk about the light of God's countenance or the light of his face. And then the fourth one would be, there's one proverb that just talks about like the light of the eye rejoices the heart. And you're really left to just like figure out, what are we talking about here? Because it's kind of a strange turn of phrase if we don't know what we're talking about. We're not here to dive into Proverbs, so I'll let you guys sort out what to do with that one. But really what we're looking at are those other three. So the idea of the lights in the heavens, the lights in the tabernacle, or the light of God's face. And I think, given that it's only used a handful of times, I think 19 times this word is used in the entire Old Testament, and 18 of those 19 are in those three contexts. I think we're supposed to see this as kind of a unique word that's being applied in certain ways to bring these ideas together. So I think we're supposed to see in some way that we're linking up the light of God's face with the lights in the tabernacle and the stars in the heaven, and kind of hold those as similar ideas or related ideas, or reflections of each other. Somehow those are supposed to play together. But that's the way this word gets used. It gets used similarly in the New Testament. We see it translate into Greek and get used in similar ways, and some of the teachings that we see there and stuff like that uses it for like lights of a face and things like that. So that's the word from Genesis 1 on day 4 of creation, where it talks about making the lights that are in the heavens. It's the ma'orim, the singular being a light would be a ma'or. So if you guys want to say that with me one more time, ma'or means light or a light. As a quick editorial note, I mentioned in this video a few times ma'orim as the plural of ma'or, and I misspoke there. I apologize. What I meant to say, the plural of ma'or is ma'orot. Ma'orot is the plural, not ma'orim. Both make things plural in Hebrew, but it's just a little bit different in how it all plays together in the Hebrew. So the plural of ma'or is ma'orot. That's what I have for today. I hope this was a blessing. If you guys are enjoying these, please subscribe so you get the weekly videos of different Hebrew and Greek vocabulary, and you can follow along with those. Likes also help other people find these. Feel free to share them with other people that you think might enjoy these. I'd appreciate any of that, just to help spread the word about what we're doing here and help as we're all just trying to understand the Bible a little bit better. But for now, I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. I hope this was a blessing, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.